The old Hackett farm is part of that part of Higginstone Park, or you go right to the old Hackett?
Go right, it goes
to the border.
To that. The Fullers own the property. We bought this 100+ acres together and divided. The Fullers, kindergarten kids or 6th graders or 8th graders or what. Of course, a lot of times it was the teachers who had never been in the woods, not the kids.
Did that change much over the years, Nancy? Did you find that kids were more or less willing to come out in the woods?
Oh, kids will always come to the woods.
Yeah.
I never had one that didn't want to come. One of the things that was very interesting, some of my most adventurous young men that you would think in school they weren't afraid of the devil himself. When we would start down this hill, and they all knew where they were going, and they knew what they were going to see, and they were all well prepared before we came. When we'd start down the hill, they were right at my elbow, and they never left my side because they didn't know how to get back.
Were they anxious to play in a spring like this one?
No, they weren't, because they didn't know if it was clean. Let's see, not this past fall because it was too dry. We did not bring the kindergarten classes, but usually in the fall I bring my daughter Ann's kindergarten classes, and 2 years ago we brought all of the Gillespie kindergartners, and we set up stations in the yard so that there are various activities, and then I'll bring in small groups to the woods for our walk. So usually what I do when I get here is begin to talk about the water that we're finding and where it came from. And 2 years ago, a little boy said, well, sometimes I have water in my backyard and my mama says it's sewer. And I said, yeah, that happens sometimes, but this isn't sewer. And I said, we know it isn't sewer because I don't have any sewer lines out here that run from anyone's toilets or anything. So this isn't, or their houses, this isn't sewer. So, you know, then you begin to expand on, based on what they have experienced, to give words and new words and new concepts and new ways of describing things. But a lot of children who grow up in the city and haven't experienced would look at that and say, ooh, you know, teachers look at that and say, yeah, Nancy, what do you want to be out here for? Aren't there bugs? Aren't there snakes? Aren't there? Well, yep.
The largest spring on the old Hackett farm. And it's used by people who lived on the hill above as a refrigerator as well as a source of water for many years.
Greensboro, current or past, understand this, and very few of our county commissioners understand this. But I taught my 4th graders. They understood it. But it didn't matter how much I tried to protect this part of the stream that I was privileged to live near, unless people upstream protected also, this wouldn't survive. And I think when the sewer line's gone through, and when I see the changes that have occurred with sediment, because there was very little change in this creek from the time I was a child until in the 90s, when more road construction, after they constructed 421, and then with the new 85 bypass, the amount of sediment in this stream, it has just made a real difference. And every time you pave something else, that's what happens. The road is a help to me when I'm headed to the mountains. I can bypass Greensboro. I drive on it, I feel like I want to shut my eyes and not look when I go along the way.
Yeah, sewer lines and roads generally don't mean good things for the environment.
No.
Nancy, when do you think the last time would have been when you all caught fish out of this creek and ate them on the bank? Would that have been 40 years ago?
The last time would have been 55 years ago.
Wow. But you could have done it afterwards.
You could have done it for a while afterwards,
Right.
yes. Yes, you could have. And actually, when we bought the land in 69 and then built the house in 70, you could find some small fish in this stream then, not big enough to catch and eat, but there were fish in this stream, and you could find those. That was as late as
Well, today,
70, 75.
when you're here at night, can you hear frogs? Can you hear the frogs down in this little watershed?
Didn't you hear some a few minutes ago? You can.
It's because my hearing's gone and yours is still here.
Well, it's going. It's hard to separate out all those trucks I hear over there on 421 because
Right.
when I came here, you didn't hear the trucks on 421.
Right.
Now if you're sitting on my patio in the evening, you're not quite sure if those trucks are coming right up the hill.
Right. That's a mile away.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is another. It's been a great day. It's nice to meet Nancy and actually meet a landowner who's got such a strong stewardship ethic, and at 75 still walks down in her property enough to know where the little wildflowers are and how the trail, and keeps the trail down in there. So it's been a good visit.